Have you ever felt guilty after eating something bad? I know I have. But the truth is, food is not the enemy. Today, we're going to talk about how to enjoy food, nourish your body, and break free from food guilt for good. Hey, Lady Boss. Welcome to Lady Boss Unplugged, the podcast where real women have real conversations about crushing their goals, building unstoppable confidence, and creating lives they absolutely love. Hi, I'm Kaitlyn Talamonte, CEO and owner of LadyBoss, wife, mom of 2 boys, and your biggest cheerleader.
Do you remember when Mommy looked like that?
Way not similar.
Each week, we'll dive into stories, strategies, and straight up motivation to help you show up as the best version of you. Because let's be honest, you are made for more. So whether you're driving the kids to practice, hitting the treadmill, or just taking a moment for yourself, get ready to laugh, learn, and leave inspired.
LadyBoss gives you the tools to not only hit your weight loss or your health and fitness goals, but to believe in yourself.
This is Lady Boss Unplugged, where women like you rise, thrive, and shine. Hey ladies, I am so excited to talk to you today about this topic when it comes to food. Mindful eating and finding balance in food is so important. And especially learning how to enjoy food without the guilt and the shame. Because I don't know about you ladies, but I've definitely had guilt and shame when it comes to eating, with binging and all the other things that we will dive into today. And it's really about building healthy habits and a healthy relationship with food, with eating. And I want to talk to you ladies about that today. So first off, why? What is food guilt? Why do we emotionally eat? Why do so many women struggle with food guilt? If you're listening right now, I guarantee you, I promise you, I know for a fact you are not alone, because I myself struggle with food guilt even to this day. After losing my 75 pounds, after rebuilding my relationship with food, I still struggle with it. But why? Why do we have such a struggle with food guilt as women? First and foremost, society. There's so many societal pressures out there. And then, of course, on top of that, you have the diet culture. Both are wonderful to make an impact on the way we see food, right? Societal pressures, you're getting all different ends of the spectrum. If you are watching what you eat, you're getting maybe negative or positive feedback, but you're getting feedback on the food you may or may not be eating. If you're eating too much, you may feel judged or that people are looking at you the wrong way or XYZ. And then, of course, we've got TV. Don't even bring like commercials. Oh, do they target hard? Lately, my kids have been wanting Little Caesars pizza. I apologize if you were Little Caesars fans. I am not. To me, I'm like, they are just really good at marketing, and they're marketing my kids, and they want Little Caesars. Commercials drive me nuts because they're putting that societal pressure on the food we supposedly want, but we really don't want, and our bodies definitely don't want it, and tend to lack nutrition, right? So there's society pressures everywhere we go when it comes to food. And then, of course, there is the diet culture. And the diet culture tells you a million different things depending on the diet you are on. Low calorie, low carb, gluten-free, no carbs, keto, high fats, low fats, Atkins, number counting, point counting, all sorts of diets. And that puts you in like a restrictive mindset when you look at a diet. And so it causes us to have food guilt. When we are on a diet and we step outside that diet, we feel guilty, right? And then, of course, we label foods as good or bad. And everyone looks at that differently, right? That is a total bias of your own, and you pick and choose, right? But, a soda is looked at as bad, right? Salad is looked at as good, right? Let's take a salad, for example. A salad might be labeled as a good food, but you can put so much stuff into that salad that is just equally equivalent to that soda you're going to have. So labeling foods as good and bad truly don't actually make sense. I love pasta. Pasta is labeled as a bad food, technically, right? White bleached flour, starchy carb, bad carbs, but it can be good depending on the shifts you make with it. And I want to dive into that later. And then, of course, don't get me started on, well, no, we're going to get started on the emotional eating. How many of you ladies that are listening, watching, nod your head with me, say, yep, that's me. Do you get triggered by emotions when it comes to eating? Those emotions could be stress, they could be anxiety, they could be boredom. It could be a way to reward yourself. It could, do you have emotional eating triggers? Like, do you find yourself grazing the kitchen because you get bored? Do you find yourself stressed out with a bag of chips in your pocket? Maybe not in your pocket, but in your lap. Emotional eating is huge. And we all deal with it in some sort of way. Then there's that cycle that I was talking about with the diet culture. I mentioned it being restriction. And the cycle of restriction is mean because you restrict, and because you're restricting your body of something it wants, something it's telling you it wants, you then end up binging, and then you end up feeling guilty, and then you repeat the cycle, right? Do you ladies know that? Have you had that happen? Like, okay, I am being really good. I am not going to, we're going to use soda as an example. We're going to keep it simple. I am not drinking any soda. I'm only going to drink water and black coffee for the next 30 days. And you make it Monday through Friday. Saturday comes, you're at a birthday party, and you decide, I'm going to have one soda. And maybe one soda leads to two, maybe it leads to five, maybe it's just one, okay? But you binge, you caved that restriction. And then you feel guilty. Man, I shouldn't have done that. I just messed up my goal. I was going to go 30 days and I only made it 5. I got to restart. I'm going to restart tomorrow. I'm going to restart right now. It starts a cycle. Restriction, you binge, you get guilty, feel guilty, and then it all repeats. I mentioned earlier that food is something I still struggle with today. Food is still something I have a healthy relationship, I would say, with food today. But it's not without working on it and being aware of it. Because I've worked on it, my mindset can most of the time, not all the time, identify when I'm emotionally eating, when I have food guilt, a food trigger for me. And one I get that I pinpoint really well that I guess I can say I understand is when we are leaving my house, whether for a baseball tournament, taking the boat out, going out in the woods. I feel like for whatever reason, my mind tells me I need to pack all the food because we're going to starve while we're gone. So I'm like, okay, potato chips and queso and burritos and meat and all the, like, let's just get $500 in groceries for a day, okay? Because for whatever reason, we're not going to stop and eat, apparently, because that's what my brain's telling me. And I have to be prepared because if I get hungry, I get grumpy. And during my journey, while working on my mindset, while being aware and rebuilding the relationship I have with food, I noticed that whenever we would get ready to go out as a family for whether a day trip or a 3-day trip, I was like worried about what my next meal was going to be, where I was going to eat, and wanted to make sure I had enough food. And I realized right then and there through my journey that that is one of the bad habits I have with food. Let's be real, ladies. No matter where you go, no matter where predicament you end up in, chances are you're going to find food somewhere, okay? You're not going to starve. But on the flip side of it, we want to make sure we're not having to stop at the nearest McDonald's because that's not the best choice either, right? And so now I flipped the script. Does my brain still like go into panic mode? Like I have to pack all the food in the world? Yeah, it does. But now I focus on packing, one, realistically. I don't want to spend all that extra money that I used to spend that would just go to waste. And I focus on nutritional food, high protein, nutritional, greeny, making sure I have extra waters in the car. And normally what that looks like, jerky, mozzarella sticks, turkey roll-ups, protein balls, protein bars, maybe some, of course, LadyBoss lean, water, maybe some like skinny pop as well. I try to pack to keep me on track. That is now my goal. Because I've been able to rebuild that relationship with healthy food. And it wasn't in the restriction, right? I didn't tell myself, no, you're fine. You'll make it. You don't need to pack anything. Kaitlyn, get in the car. Instead, I've rewired it where I do still pack. I'm not going to say I don't. I do. I've got cute little like car coolers, okay? But I pack them with healthy options, not all the junk. Items that are going to keep me fuller longer, give my body the fuel it needs, help me fuel myself with energy for whatever the adventure is going to bring. So you have to be mindful about it. What is mindful eating though? Mindful eating is about being present with your food, listening to your body and enjoying what you're eating without judgment. At LadyBoss, we focus on your weight loss being sustainable. This is not a fad. We do not want you to lose it and gain it all back. And so that's why restriction in our philosophy does not work. Because ladies, for me, I'm going to have that Girl Scout Thin Mint when Girl Scout season rolls around. I'm going to have my mint chocolate chip Baskin Robbins? Yeah, Baskin Robbins ice cream. I am definitely going to have it. I am going to have my Starbucks coffee. But I don't have those items and feel guilty anymore. Because I'm not looking at the way I eat as guilt, as resentment, as restriction. I'm being present with my food and I'm listening to my body. And I'm not judging myself for what I do eat when I don't eat great. How mindful eating truly changes your relationship with food because you're being aware of what you are consuming. I don't mind when I have my Baskin Robbins or my Thin Mints or my Starbucks because I focus so much on what I am putting into my body, making sure I'm fueling it first, making sure I'm getting my protein, making sure I'm getting leafy greens and fibers in without overcomplicating it. Okay? I try to keep it as simple as possible, but choosing chicken breast over the McDonald's cheeseburger. So when I have that delicious, lightly, maybe it's a honey barbecue chicken breast with some green beans and sweet potatoes, which, oh, I'm making myself hungry right now. That sounds really good. That might be for dinner, ladies. That is a fully carved out, satisfying meal that's going to help me feel full longer, help me hit my protein goals, fill my body with nutrition, and my entire family will eat it. It's a win. If I have my Thin Mint for dessert, that is okay. It's all about sustainable and giving up Starbucks, giving up Thin Mints, giving up my ice cream for a lifetime is not going to happen. It's not. But it's all about being mindful with the food you are consuming. And it's also recognizing real hunger versus emotional hunger. That hunger triggered by boredom, anxiety, stress, overwhelm. Balance that relationship. Start to realize what is true hunger versus emotional hunger. Because, well, we'll talk about tips here in just a little bit. When emotional hunger kicks in, even if you're not sure yet, we're going to talk about how to even be sure it's emotional. But start recognizing real hunger and prioritize real hunger over emotional hunger. And when you do that, it truly encourages satisfaction in your food. And so you start to focus when you're being mindful on your eating on being satisfied in what you're eating, focusing on how your body's feeling. Think of how your stomach is satisfied over restriction. And you'll start to pinpoint things. If I go have this McDonald's cheeseburger, I'm going to feel pretty crummy. If I have this chicken breast, it's going to be delicious and I'm going to feel pretty good and I'm going to have higher energy and all the other benefits that go along with it. You ladies picking up what I'm putting down? I want to do a simple mindful eating exercise with you ladies, if that's okay. Or I want you to. If you are eating right now, right this second, you could do it with me. But if you are not eating right now, next time you eat, I want you to do this exercise. First off, I want you to take a deep breath. Deep breath in and out a couple times and slow down. Slow your mind. Take deep breaths in and out. And when you eat your food, I want you to really taste it. Enjoy it. Savor it. Can you ladies do that next time that you sit down for a meal? And I challenge you, do that every time you sit down for a meal. Why? Because when you slow down to eat your food, you really taste it, you really enjoy it, it helps encourage that satisfaction. Something I am really guilty at is I eat like I don't have enough time in the day, which don't get me wrong, we are all busy. But when I sit down to eat, I'm not normally in a rush to get up from the table with my family and do 20 million other things. Normally we could kind of slow down then. Or my lunch, I might be eating in my car as I'm driving somewhere. For whatever reason, I have found that I scarf like I do not have enough time to eat. I am shoving it in. And when I do that, I feel miserable. Healthy or not healthy food. I didn't give myself a chance to breathe in between bites. It's like getting stuck in my chest as it's going down. I might have a little indigestion because I just hoovered this food. I hoovered it. And that's where mindful eating comes into play. Be intentional as you're eating. You have time. I know you do. So take a deep breath and slow down and enjoy it. Really taste your food. It takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to communicate to your brain that you are full. So if you just hoovered a foot long in 5 minutes, you might have only needed a 6-inch sub. Okay? This is just an example. Maybe a 6-inch would have been enough, but you didn't give your body enough time to enjoy the food and communicate that, hey, we're satisfied. We don't need more. We have to find the balance with our food. And first and foremost, we have to ditch the all or nothing mindset. That's got to go out the door. That restrictive, like I have to stick to this diet, and if I fail, I'm not doing it at all, has to go. Okay? That all or nothing of I'm going to eat 100% clean or not at all has to go. I'm a perfect example of that. I lost 65 pounds when I first started LadyBoss back in 2019. And I was super proud of that progress, but I went all or nothing with it. I ate 100% clean. I didn't have any cheats. I was getting my protein in. I was eating 100% clean. But that doesn't work, does it? There's a reason I gained that 65 pounds back. Because it wasn't sustainable. I don't want to, nor do I plan to, eat 100% clean for the rest of my life. And so I had to get rid of that all or nothing mindset. One bad meal does not ruin your progress at all. So you have to learn to enjoy all foods in moderation. Have you ladies out there heard of the 80-20 rule? Some of you, if you have heard of the 80-20 rule, you may have heard of it when it comes to nutrition and fitness, where 80% is nutrition when it comes to weight loss and 20% is fitness. At least that's how I've heard of the 80-20 rule. But we're going to dissect the 80-20 rule a little differently today. We're going to specifically talk about the 80-20 rule that comes with food, with keeping a healthy relationship with food and keeping your progress sustainable. Okay? It's not all or nothing. It's not 100% clean eating. Focus on 80% whole, nutritious, fulfilling foods. 80%. The 20%, you're going to have that Starbucks, you're going to have that Baskin Robbins, those Thin Mints, that slice of pizza, that birthday cake, those jalapeno poppers. I bet you ladies are hungry right now. As I like to call them, the 20% fun foods. So 80% focus on whole, nutritious foods. But 20%, have those fun foods. Enjoy them. That removes the pressure of feeling guilty when you eat. When you do not follow the plan, the way the plan's lined out, it helps remove that guilt. It removes that all or nothing mindset and helps set you up for success. And listen to your bodies, ladies. Listen. Learn your hunger versus your cravings and how to tell the difference. Eat when you're hungry and stop when you're satisfied. When it comes to cravings and hunger, make a deal with yourself. This is one of my favorite tips. Make a deal with yourself, depending on the instance, of course. For me, a while back, I was making dinner for my family. I was making a high protein, nutritious meal, had already started cooking, was like 20 minutes from being ready. And the craving kicked in and it was so bad. I wanted Taco Bell. I wanted Taco Bell to the deep inner core of my soul. And I live in a place where I can DoorDash real easy. And so as I'm standing over my stove, I pull out my phone and I open up DoorDash and I start ordering this Taco Bell. And I had to stop myself. I said, whoa, hold up, back up, rewind. You are making dinner, a healthy dinner, a dinner that you're going to feel a lot more satisfied eating than you are that Taco Bell. This is cravings talking to you. This is the fact that you haven't really had the best meal or best eating today because you've been busy or whatever the excuse is, right? And I wanted it though. That willpower was, I battled her. Okay. I wanted that Taco Bell. And so I made a deal with myself right then and there. Said, okay, I'm not going to order Taco Bell right now. I'm already making dinner. I know I'm not going to be able to eat both. That's going to be too much food. And I don't need to spend the money. I'm already making dinner. So here's the deal. I'm going to finish up this meal. My family and I are going to eat it. And if after I am done, I still want the Taco Bell, I am going to have it. And we shook hands. Me and myself and I shook hands. I was going to have that Taco Bell after I ate my meal. Dinner was ready. We sat down at the table. We ate. And I no longer even thought about the Taco Bell. I no longer craved it. I no longer wanted it. And I was satisfied and full. However, if I still wanted that Taco Bell after I consumed my food, I'm not going to go back on a deal. I made the deal with myself. I was going to get that Taco Bell. I was, but I didn't have to because I prioritized the hunger versus the craving. I was able to know that that was just a hankering craving that was mean and real versus being hungry. And so I prioritized the hunger and giving my body the nutrition it needed before I gave in to the craving. Make deals with yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you do have the Taco Bell at the end of the day, that is okay. You fueled your body first. Okay? The other one, if you're not sure yet right now, you're just starting out, is this a craving? Am I emotionally eating? Am I actually hungry? Grab your water before you eat and drink 8 to 12 ounces of water, 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes, okay? That's all I ask. Drink 8 to 12 ounces of water and let it sit before you go and eat. That will give your body and your brain the time to figure out and solve, are we really hungry or is this just a craving? And you'll start to notice as you learn more, as you drink 8 to 12 ounces of water before you eat, was it emotional or am I actually hungry? Is this a craving or am I actually hungry? Okay. And then when you eat, slow down. That exercise we talked about earlier, slow down. Take deep breaths. Chew your food. Taste your food. So that way you are able to hear your body's cues when you are full and satisfied. So as of today, ladies, you are going to stop labeling foods as good versus bad. There is no such thing as good versus bad. Okay? Don't put the food labels on there. Do not make yourself guilty. Enjoy your food without guilt. So do not label foods good or bad. Instead, reframe your mindset. Food is fuel and enjoyment. That 80-20, 80%, that whole nutritional food, 20%, the fun food. Okay? Enjoy it and plan for the indulgences. It's going to happen. If you want a cookie, have it and move on. Have it. Don't kick yourself in the butt. Have it and enjoy it and move on. And if you ladies know me, I love affirmations. I love working on state. And an affirmation I challenge you to use, especially as you work on building a healthy relationship with food, is this: I deserve to enjoy food without guilt. Wherever you ladies are at right now, if you struggle with your relationship with food, say this loud with me right now. I deserve to enjoy food without guilt. Yes, you do. You do enjoy. Do deserve to enjoy food without guilt. You do. I want to remind you, ladies, that mindful eating is about awareness. It's about balance and enjoying your food without shame. You can be healthy and still enjoy your favorite foods. It has to be sustainable. It has to make sense for you. The goal is to ditch food guilt and start fueling your body with love. This week, practice mindful eating at least once, and I would love to know how it goes. DM me. I think you can reach out through the podcast socials, help@ladyboss.com. I want to know. DM me and share your thoughts. Share them in the LadyBoss community. That is also a great place. But practice mindful eating at least once this week and let me know how it goes. I look forward to hearing your feedback, ladies, and I can't wait to see you next week on LadyBoss Unplugged. Have an amazing rest of your day.